Hey guys, super important update here. I want to go over kind of my longer term thoughts on Bitcoin. Maybe some things you guys haven't considered yet. Want to kind of cut out the Twitter BS and kind of actually, you know, what's going on in the price action, kind of some plans for next week. I also want to go over NVIDIA. I think this is kind of important to the, kind of S&P tech AI kind of trade that's going on. I'll go over XRP, go over hype. I don't trade many altcoins these days, but the main focus is going to be on Bitcoin. Is it over? Kind of some thoughts, medium term. But yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, we are definitely in the zone for a bounce, right? I mean, we already kind of bounced. I know I'm a little bit late on the video, but if you look here, these recent drawdowns have been about 30%, right? And we're hitting that zone. So is this gonna be some rally to 100K? I don't think so. Or not 100K, sorry, to new all-time highs. It definitely could be, but in my estimation, that's not what we're seeing, right? So we kind of have two ranges here, I'd like to say. And what I think might happen is we kind of get this bounce almost like here, right? Maybe we get a 20% bounce that would put us 98K, even maybe we go up and tap 100K. But this kind of upper consolidation here is going to be strong resistance. If we're back in this range, I'm not going to fight it, right? If we're back up here, um, and we see acceptance, above this last kind of high, I'm not going to fight it. But I just think that's kind of improbable right now. I made this kind of indicator for the stream here, just kind of to show you that, you know, the the trend is down, right? We broke every kind of key moving average. We haven't reclaimed any of the like this is just really shorter term moving averages. You can see we're kind of just sitting on them right now. Um, but guys, I mean, we could bounce all the way, up here, even up here, and it's still just kind of a dead cat bounce. So I'm not saying if we do get a bounce to be super bearish. I'm just saying it's something to watch out for, right? Something like this, um, where this did end up kind of being the low, right? The low was in, but we tested it, maybe three times. We kind of got that three drive structure. So maybe, we come up and then we come back down and we sweep the low, or we just come back near the low and come back again. But for some reason, I just don't think I don't know. It's a longer term trend, right? These things don't just like change immediately. And I'm not just gonna buy because of that. Now, from a spot position standpoint, I think this kind of whole general zone down here makes sense for sure. If you're just gonna hold longer term spot, maybe a year kind of time horizon, 2, 3 years, it makes sense. But we could easily go lower, right? I mean, we have this consolidation down here. We could easily go to 70, 72K. This is kind of the breakout from Trump's inauguration. I think that scare a lot of people. Um, like maybe just sweep this low. So by no means am I saying we can't go lower. I'm just saying this is kind of the area to look out for a bounce. Um, because I don't want you guys to kind of get too not too bared up. Just recognize where you're on the trend, right? You definitely should be bear bias still, based on these moving averages. I mean, I certainly am. So, anyways, that's kind of the longer term how I'm looking at it. Shorter time frame. So you guys can see this is the weekly. This is the monthly. The monthly's not that important. I don't really use this that often. Let's actually close this. So we have the daily TPO and then we have the weekly TPO. And honestly, it looks pretty good so far. So I could even see us having another push up. But right now, I mean, the most obvious trade's going to be back in these single prints. So they have a drawing tool in here. There we go. So if we kind of trade back down, something like this, I think this is a long opportunity, at least up back into the bottom of this consolidation. Um, if we keep kind of zooming up here, I think it does end up being a short. At least that's how I'm gonna play it. Um, I mean, you have this range, right? This is kind of the top of this range, which we tapped. So that was kind of an important level. And we kind of have this other consolidation here. Let's just merge these and let's see where it sits. Um, I mean, it's not perfect, but you could say like, let's say the POC, so maybe around 95. Um, but guys, realistically, let's say we're here. I, I mean, we could even come up and test like, let me sync these. Sync, sync. We could even come up and test something like 97. Even like this naked point of control 102. Where would that put these longer term averages? Let's see. Oops, that's 102. Yeah. So that 102 zone, I think is going to be important if we get up there, right? If we just die here, um, and that was kind of the bounce, I would look to buy near the lows again. I think that's another trade. So I think kind of have two. You have a buy these single prints, which is more of a scalp intraday trade. You have a buy near the lows. If we sweep the lows, if it's just in this general area, that's another trade. And then we have the move up. If we kind of move up super fast, we have a short. I am going to be kind of cognizant of the Santa rally if we do get one in stocks. Something that kind of would go against this, right? So the S&P kind of hit this, I think that's 50, simple, 100. So it's hit the 100. You guys can see when we hit the 100 in the past, this is a good kind of trend continuation signal. So, I mean, is it just going to go back up to new all-time highs and hit 7K? I mean, it feels like probably, to be honest with you. Um, one thing that's interesting though, I think if this kind of AI narrative is going to die, is Nvidia going to die with it? I don't know. Um, but we're in kind of a zone. These 20% pullback zone seems to be good buying opportunity. So something there on Nvidia if you guys are watching it. Um, let's pull up Google here. You guys see Google's kind of taken over the trade because they're kind of the all-in-one, right? They're making every the chips. Their AI is the best right now. So this kind of taken over, but is it over? Is Nvidia gonna give us some super deep correction, 40%, which is it's not even that big. So what, like 125? Um, maybe. Maybe back down to this, this 200, which would be a 25% pullback, which is not insane. XRP is kind of the only alt that has been holding up. I don't think this guppy is that important. I mean, you guys can see it's in a downtrend again, just like all these other altcoins. Um, I don't know. I don't really have a long-term thesis on any of these. I mean, hype kind of looks like shit still. If you look at it, I mean, it's still kind of every moving average is pointing lower now. I'm not going to fight the trend. It seems like it could be holding up, maybe for the wrong reasons. Maybe people thinks it think it's like a crazy fundamental trade. Um, and if Bitcoin goes lower, it just keeps going lower. Um, but yeah, those are kind of my plans for Bitcoin, Nvidia, kind of that longer term swing idea. Another thing I wanted to go over the open interest since kind of the start of this breakdown here. I mean, it's still high. You guys can see we kind of peaked back over here at the bottom. And it looks like a lot of these shorts kind of came off. So back kind of the midpoint of the OI has kind of been reset. Um, we have Coinbase down here. Go to 30 minute. We do have Coinbase down here. This is the spot. CBD, you can see they did start picking up from these lows. So we are seeing some spot buying down here, which is good. Um, and yellow, I think, is Binance. Let's see. Binance, not as much, but they have at least been buying a little bit more. Looks like Coinbase has mostly been doing the lifting. So just another thing to keep in mind. The OI is not really giving us any indication. It spiked into the lows, right? People got trapped, and then we kind of just flushed them out higher. So, anyways, those are my setups going into next week with Bitcoin. Again, this kind of lower zone, this single print retest, and then the kind of move higher and short idea, which is dangerous, guys, to short this thing because it could give a nasty, nasty rally. So if you're gonna short, no, I wouldn't say just step in front of it. Um, Maybe wait for it to kind of form one of these ranges like we've been doing and break down or something like that. But I, I'll probably just, if we get a crazy kind of daily candle, maybe 8% or something, I'll probably look for the short, to be honest with you. I'll probably try to get in early. I might get stopped out, but I'm going to follow my plan on that one. So that's kind of everything I did want to go over. Again, if you guys got any questions, let me know in the comments. Hope this is helpful. I try to avoid kind of all the hopium um, and the BS that you guys get from Twitter. It's just the truth. Bitcoin's in a downtrend, kind of any way you look at it. So until that changes, be defensive, guys. Um, be selective with your alts, and don't don't blow your stack when the chips are down. All right, thanks.